where are we headed with the one and done rule? Looks like it's changing.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going. I think all these rules are going to change. I just, Dan, I mean this as strongly as I can. I know everybody's thinking we're giving the kids the most freedom and it's best for them, but I don't know about you, Dan, but I made a lot of average decisions at 18, 19 years old, and I think a lot of these kids, there's going to be some LeBrons, but there's going to be a lot more that aren't LeBrons, and then what are they going to be like in a year or two when they don't make it? So I worry about it. I think it's going to cause a lot of kids to kind of bag school, and, I hear some guys talking that it's only going to be 6 or 8 kids. There's going to be a lot more than that think they're good enough, and there'll be a lot more agents and middlemen telling them they're good enough, and I don't think it's going to affect college that much. I think it'll affect pro a little bit more, but I think the biggest person it's going to affect is the kids themselves.
But you're not. I mean, how many times are you recruiting a one and doneer at Michigan State?
I've had 3 or 4 of them, and 2 of them didn't think they'd be one and done, and they ended up one and done. But I'm not recruiting many kids that you go into it that way. But I think once that rule comes out, there'll be a lot more kids thinking they're one and done. And yet, throughout most years, there's not as many that really can do that. But I think once the kids get set on it, it's going to change, and it's going to make it a little more difficult for them and for us.
Yeah, my only issue, I take issue with what you're saying, is we don't care about kids in other sports who you could have soccer players who could be signing, at 10, 12 years of age. Tennis players do this. Baseball players, hockey players do this. Golfers do this. It feels like we're looking out for basketball players when it feels like that's more of, we don't want to ruin our sport or our tournament. We want to have these stars. I'll take somebody one and done just so I got to see Carmelo for 1 year. So I don't know. It feels like we're overprotective.
I wouldn't mind taking a one and done, so you could have them for a year. But now that won't happen. It'll be a none and done. And as you say that, look at it the other side. Hasn't worked out so bad for football and football players. Do you think the NBA players? Do you hear the commissioner talking about, are these young new millennials having any fun? Are they enjoying it? Are they appreciating it? Could you handle $50 million at 17, 18 years old?
I can't handle it now.
I mean, either. That's exactly what I'm saying. And so I don't think we see the studies on what it does. If you look at Hollywood, those young stars that come out later on in life, it hasn't ended up very good for a lot of them that started really young,
Yeah.
And I worry the same thing. So, listen, I don't care. Michigan State's going to be standing whether we're one and done, none and done, or 4 and done, But why not look on the other side of it? It's worked out pretty good for football. And, those kids get a little more mature and they get a little better opportunity, and maybe they can handle things a little better.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.